a little about me. I'm an overfunctioner. What that means is that none of you are doing enough. For this, this retreat, I'm the lights person, the sound person, the tech person, the music person.
The
I'm
comedian.
this close to doing Al's job for him.
Well, give it a go.
And if you have any complaints about what's happening today, you can report to the customer service department, which is also me. I say that because I talk about overfunctioning. It's actually a belief, a limiting belief that it looks good on paper because you do so much stuff. People love that, right? But actually, it's detrimental to someone's health. For me, it was because I ran a company at the age of 28, and I didn't want to ask for help, nothing like that. So I developed severe rheumatoid arthritis. But only when I started dealing with my inside stuff did I go into remission. But there's been permanent damage. You can see by my hands that I always look at the brighter side of things, and I see that it's quite handy, actually, for fetching hook keys from behind a cabinet. Also, you can rent me at Halloween. Okay, why did I talk about this? Because it's actually a big part about spirit attachment. Why do spirits attach to you? They always say, why? Because there's a law of attraction. They are attracted to you because they have something similar to you. So if you carry these beliefs of I'm not worthy, or I'm not worthy as you go. Like women who get abused by men, they tend to go out with men who keep abusing them. Why is that? Because there's a belief inside they're not worthy. So then they attract these men who also believe they're not worthy, so they beat them to prove their worth, right? But these low vibrations attract the spirits around us who are also of that same I'm not good enough. So these thought forms, everyone's generating all these thought forms of like, I'm not good enough, and these spirits think the same way, and they come to you, and they come close, and they impress their thoughts onto you. And then you have this giant whirlwind of negative thought forms, and then you're feeling these emotions, and it may not be all yours. I always say to people, when you feel it, sometimes when you are angry and you don't know why, and you're observing yourself going, why am I so mad at this thing? It's because it's not all your stuff. They're also impressing their thoughts onto you and their emotions onto you. I always say to you, be aware of your space. When you're in a space, like lots of people, everyone's got so much baggage, let's call it that way. And so spirits do attach, and that is, I do a lot of spirit releasement work, which I accidentally stumbled upon, and I was clearing people off their limited beliefs. So what kind of spirit attachments do we get? I tend to think of it as 5 different types. One is just really spirits that are just here to check out what's going on. Not really doing a lot of harm. We call them coming on vacation. That's what I say to Al. And it's like, just go away kind of thing. The second kind is like a thought form, a giant thought form bubble. The negative thought forms, that kind of thing. It's like this giant thought form bubble attached to you. So those two are pretty easy. The third one is earthbound. Those are the ones that are people who've crossed over, but they didn't cross over to the spirit realm. They're on this earth plane. There are a lot of those. When they attach, they get into your auric field. When they get into your auric field, they are like a plane that has disappeared off the radar. So their relatives, who are in the spirit realm, can't even find them. So the problem is, they are influencing you, your thoughts, their illnesses. Some people manifest like, however they pass, or whatever. If they had a leg that was an issue, you said developing a leg thing. Whatever they kind of have the elements, you tend to develop those things. They impress their emotions onto you, their thought forms onto you. So I clear those. There's a way to clear it off. And then there is devices. Believe it or not, there are devices. And the last kind is, they call them demons, but they're not demons. They're just really low spirits, and they're really low spheres. And then once in a while, they get some clarity, and they come over, and then they just wreak havoc. Those ones are pretty bad. So those are 5 different types. I tend to see people who get earthbound spirits inside the auric field, and then we clear them out. So I am thinking I'm going to talk about, when we talk about what kind of attachments, we're going to talk about why it's important to deal with our personal stuff on the divine love path, and how do we prevent attachments, right? The only way to prevent attachments is if you get to a point where there's so much love and whatnot, and your vibration is so high, it gets higher and higher, you're going to attract the same kind of spirits. The higher spirits don't want to attach to you at all. So the lower you are, the more chances of the attachment is going to happen. I can clear people off all day long, but the problem is they still have that hooking point. It's still going. It's always going to be happening. I can't clear that person. I clear that one spirit off, then something else comes along, unless we deal with the hooking point, right? So I was thinking we're going to do something a little bit, instead of me yakking, we can do something more, like an example. Like, you know, if someone wants to have me check, number one, if they have an attachment, we can do a clearing. That's one example. And the second one is if someone wants to do some personal growth work and really dive into their feelings, because that's one of the things we talk about, how your soul wants to expand, and then we got all this encrustments and stuff like that, so we can do an exercise where we can clear some of that stuff. And I'll also leave you a tool that you could do at home when stuff comes up, and how do you deal with that. Sounds good?
Does, but I have one quick question. What's a device?
A device is a contraption, if I can call it that way. I've seen it where it's on literally something that's holding someone's third eye open. It's like something that's holding it. You can call it, maybe it's not like don't think of it like a mechanical thing.
What creates that? Is it not, it's not a soul?
I just call it a device, but I've seen it where you have to literally remove it. Kind of like I had a client who had a device that was literally attached to his third eye, and it was holding him, that they were just coming in. I'm talking about, remember how Al was talking about how you're like a target if you're a medium and you don't have any boundaries? Well, he was nonstop, they were coming. And in this thing, when we pulled it out, it was like he just started to cry. He was like, I haven't felt like this, like normal for so long.
Would that be different than like an incrustation? Would they be similar?
Incrustations is where your beliefs. That's the way I'm talking about it. Like your limiting beliefs. I'm not good enough. I'm only lovable when I'm doing something. Like something from trauma or childhood, that kind of thing. That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying have the courage to go into your traumas, go into your past, and deal with it. Because until you deal with it, you can pray all you want for divine love. But if you just say, I was talking to some ladies at the lunch, and I said, you know, we pray we're on the divine love path, and then yet I don't talk to my brother. He's an ass. You know, oh, he's fine, I don't talk to him. There's something wrong right there. You know, you're saying you're on the divine love path, but you don't talk to someone. What's going on? That's what I'm talking about. It's an awareness. How are you in your everyday life that you think you're going the right way? I've prayed for divine love for 10 years, and I still seem like I'm not going anywhere. Well, where's your awareness? What is everything happening around your life? You know what I mean? Take a look at that, right? So, yeah, straight off. But we're gonna do an example. Let's just start with spirit release. Maybe that's fun, right? Okay, let's see. Who wants to be? Let's see. Who thinks